All right, so instead of building this triangle-based business, we're going to build a table. All right, now excuse my drawing. Because when I did this on my phone and I posted a little snippet, somebody was like, I didn't even know that was a table. Okay, so we're gonna build ourselves a table. And I'm gonna try and draw it so it looks like a table. Does that look like a table? Yes, it does. Oh, I really wanna draw a rug. I'm gonna draw a rug, I'm just gonna do it. Because we like a rug under the table, even though snacks get smushed into it. Here's the snacks. First leg of our table is photos that slap, okay? Good photos, okay? We've got to be able to take a good photo because that's why we're in this business. The next leg of our table is editing that we can recognize anywhere. Or maybe you want to call it consistent editing, whatever. But recognizable edits because we want people to see our photos and go, oh, that's Zephyr. And then we want good photos because we want people to see our photos and go, holy shit, she's fucking good at this. We need to have messaging that lands with our dream client, all right? So we need some good messaging happening here because we need to know who we're talking to and what we're talking about. Our fourth leggy leg is an experience worth talking about. So a good client experience from the start through to the end. So through every single touch point from when they hit your account, when they inquire, when they read your website, when they email you, when they voice memo you, when you do the shoot, the post-shoot delivery, the gallery, everything. Every single touch point needs to be a really fucking good experience, okay? And that's how we build a solid photography business. And I'm gonna show you something. When we stack our weights on top of this table, we're gonna draw our little our barbells again. So we're gonna stack our weights on top of this table. Now this is not an IKEA table, girls. This is a my dad built this table. Like, he's a fucking carpenter. And I said to him, Dad, this table is not gonna fall over. So it's got ironclad inside the wood, all right? It's got double head of screws. I don't even know, I'm not a builder, but my dad built this table, so you best believe that you can put a fucking elephant on top and it's still standing, all right? So we've got our sicky kids, sicky butts over here. We've got our no sleepy sleep. Oh, am I out of breath, bro? Okay, no sleep. What was the other ones that I said? We had no sleep, sick kids, no leads, and our content flopped. Now, we've chucked all these on top of our table, and what happens? Nothing, right? Our table still stands exactly the way it did before life got in the way. Now, we can take away a leg, like we can, but the table will be uneven, and when life gets in the way and when our weight's stacked on top, the table will probably tip, especially if they're at one end of the leg. So imagine removing an entire leg from a table, right? It'll still stand, but it'll wobble like shit, okay? But pop screws have come loose, and maybe one of these legs are wobbly. Our table's still gonna stand regardless of if the legs are wobbly or not, okay? When I say the legs are wobbly, what I mean is if you've got good photos, recognizable edits, messaging that lands, and a good client experience, previous work that you're putting out there onto your Instagram will still book for you, okay? Let's pretend you've had a really shitty shoot, right? You could not get the toddler, didn't matter what you did, it was completely out of your control. Maybe the toddler was sick, there was snot everywhere, it was freezing, and the toddler was just not having a good time. You've offered a reshoot, but they're like, no, it's fine, I'm sure you can work your magic. And maybe to you, your photos aren't good enough, right? You've gone, okay, shit, or maybe it was a really emotional session, and let's pretend maybe they're about to lose their dad, and maybe you've lost your dad, or you felt like you were not 100% in that shoot, and that your photos are not up to the standard that you would usually deliver, but they're still good. Like, let's say they're still good, but maybe they're not the best photos you've ever taken, but your previous work is still going to sell for you. It's still going to talk for you and make the noise for you, even if you have an off gallery, okay? And then let's pretend the recognizable edits is wobbly because you've done a really shitty shoot in really shitty light. Like you've come to their house and they have no natural light and you're struggling to edit it. Or maybe you've done a full sun session and you can't get that golden edit that you usually deliver. Your previous work is still going to talk for you. And like, yeah, maybe you can't get the edit perfect because we can't get the edit perfect on every single shoot. It depends what they wear. It depends on the lighting. It depends on the location. Like if you've gone to a field in the middle of winter and everything is fluorescent green and they've rocked up in this, like blue on blue on blue, of course that shoot is not going to look the way it would look if it was the middle of summer and it was brown and they were wearing nice beiges and golden hues and earthy tones. And you can still make your edit as recognizable as possible. You can still make it pretty consistent, but it may not be exactly what you want it to be, but that is not your fault and it will still deliver for you. Like maybe that wobbles a little bit and you start to doubt yourself a little bit, but 9 times out of 10, your previous edits will still start to sell for you, okay? Because you're still recognizable. And even I, like, believe it or not, I can show you in the course if you really want me to, because I'm not a gatekeeper, but I can show you there is probably about 40% of my galleries, actually probably not that much. I want to say like 30% of my galleries I do not share because I'm not 100% happy with the result. And I don't mean in terms of like I'm not happy with it that I didn't deliver a good gallery. I still believe that every gallery I deliver is better than what they could have done and they're going to love it regardless because it's their people and their moments. But maybe the edit isn't up to my standard in terms of sharing it on my Instagram, right? Even if I do that, this table will still hold for me, okay? Maybe you post a post that doesn't say anything. Maybe it's you at the gym. Maybe it's you running around with your kids, or maybe it's just something that you like and it doesn't actually have that messaging in terms of like what you're trying to say and appealing to their pain points and desires and all of that. But the post that you've done in the past on this is going to hold you up. So if you've gone a week, maybe you're in Bali. We know I love Bali, so it's always going to be my example when you're on holidays, right? But maybe you're in Bali and you posted 3 things that week that you scheduled the week before, but you didn't have the energy to make it really strong with your messaging because you're packing your kids' suitcases and you're getting your husband ready and you're trying to like clean the house and organize a house sitter and deal with the dog and everything, right? So you didn't have time. So maybe like the day before you went to Bali, you just were like, cool, I don't want to be on Instagram while I'm in Bali. I'm going to just schedule 3 posts that are just my work, that are just content from previous shoots that I've done. I'm going to schedule them now so that when I'm in Bali, I can delete Instagram or I can just put stories up of my kids in the pool or whatever, right? So if you've got messaging previously throughout your Instagram that if somebody new clicks on your page and can scroll and be like, oh, that's what she's about. Oh yeah, she does some cool stuff here. That's just about her. That's her values. But then here's this, here's this, here's this. If you've got messaging that you've previously posted and that you've delivered throughout your feed, that when that new person clicks on your page, they're going to see that. They're going to understand that you don't have to be posting that every day. So even if this lacks for a week or 2 or 3 or 4, you've still got that messaging there in the background that's selling for you, okay? One is the most important, so I really want you to listen to this, even if you've tuned out a little bit, okay? So let's say, and this has happened to me, don't think that I'm like this almighty force that has the most incredible client experience all the time. Now, I want to preface this by saying now, in my business where I'm at now, I don't know, 98% of my clients are my dream clients and I have an absolutely whirlwind experience with them, right? It's the best, it's everything for me. But that doesn't say that I didn't have shitty client experiences in the past. And even recently, January this year, I took on a shoot that was not aligned with me because I was going to Bali the next week, believe it or not, and I wanted some extra money and she was willing to book my middle package, which was like $750, and that was $750. It was a last minute shoot. She emailed me. I don't even know how she found me, to be honest. I think it was through a friend from work or something. I don't know. Someone had seen me and said, hey, why don't you go to her? And I knew from the get-go that it was not aligned. Like the way she emailed, she was like regards and all this stuff. I was like, oh, this is a bit strange, but you know, I'm going to do this shoot anyway because I want the money, right? And I had a really shitty time doing this shoot. She came to my house, went in the studio. She was a single mum. She was quite older. And I think just personality clash. She was quite like uptight and professional, and we were, I don't know, career-driven woman, and everything had to be perfect. And she didn't want to wear any of the newborn outfits that I had recommended her. She left her baby in a Bonds onesie, which fine, absolutely fine for her. But for me, I was like, I'm not going to post these. She was, you know, I tried my best to make the experience as good as I possibly could for her, but I just had this weird gut feeling that it wasn't going to be, I guess, it wasn't going to end up well. I knew that from the start and I took it on anyway, which is my fault. I should never have done that. But it was a shitty experience. I think not only for me, but for her too, because she had all these expectations that I wasn't going to deliver for her. You know, like she didn't read anything that said it would take 6 weeks for the delivery. She expected the photos straight away. She expected a sneak peek. She also booked the middle package, and then she wanted all the photos so that when it came time to upgrade, which was great because she wanted to upgrade, she loved the photos, but she didn't understand why I didn't charge, like she didn't understand that it was a different price. She had to pay that $175 upgrade instead of just the difference between package 1 and 2. Maybe I could have been clearer on that, and I am now because of this client, but it was just a really shitty experience. There was a lot of back and forth with like me trying to be like, but you didn't read it. I told you and you didn't read it. And it was just this argument that was ongoing. And anyway, at the end of the day, I just let her have the photos, right? Because I was like, I would rather her have the photos and get out of my life and leave me alone, right? But I probably shouldn't have done that, but I just didn't want to deal with it. I know she was the type of person that would have taken me to Consumer Affairs and said that I was unclear or whatever. So this was a really shitty experience. But do you think my table collapsed? Do you think Zephyr Digital crumbled from that one experience? No. And I've had experiences like that in the past. Like maybe someone's bought a voucher off me 2 years ago for their dad's 60th or something like that. And I've had an extended family where they're all like prim and proper. And I was just very like bike shorts and oversized tee, and they were all like dressed up to the nines. They rolled in their Teslas and their Beamers and all these amazing cars. And they were quite, like you could tell these people were wealthy. They were wearing like Dior and I don't know, just not my clients, right? And where I delivered beautiful photos, the actual experience for me, I might not have been as fun and flamboyant and bubbly as what I usually would be with my clients because I just couldn't crack them. I couldn't get through to them in the way that I wanted to, and I felt like I did not give them the best experience because they weren't my people, and I couldn't, like I felt disappointed and I felt almost angry the whole shoot because I was like, you're not listening to me, like stop trying to be Instagram girls, like throw your kids in the air, you know, like do something fun. Like they were just so unaligned, and that was a shitty experience for me and probably for them because they were probably like, this girl, like I just felt like they overpowered me. I felt like everything I said, they shut it down, and I felt like they thought I was weird the whole time. Like I asked them to do like do this, like bump their hips together all in a line, and they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, and I was like, okay, I can't do anything. Like my power is not needed here. So they would have been way better off with somebody that was more aligned to them as clients. But regardless, like I can have these shitty experiences and my table still holds because 90% of my clients, 95% of my clients, this experience is amazing, okay? So you will get that, okay? You will get these 4 categories. Sometimes they will ebb and flow, okay? But if as a whole, like if 80 to 90% of this is solid, your business will never fall apart. Focus on these 4 things, right? These are the most important things ever. Even if showing up on Instagram is really, really hard for you, if you can try and focus on these 2 first, this one second, and then when you want to really boost it and get your marketing happening, your messaging last, okay? Because as long as these 3 things are super, super solid, your messaging will just add the cherry on top of the cake, right? And like if you have recognizable edits, great photos and great messaging, but your client experience sucks, you lose the leg, your table will fall over, okay? If you have good photos, if you have a great client experience and you have really good messaging, but every single gallery that you edit is different, it'll be really, really hard for you to create that consistency that brings in clients because they know what your work looks like, okay? Now, if you have great editing and you have a really great client experience and you have messaging that really, really books for you, but your photos really suck and you just have these straight on straight photos and you don't have any variety in your galleries, it's also going to be really hard for you to build your business. And then if you have a great client experience, recognizable edits and good photos, that's amazing and you'll get a lot of word of mouth clients, but it'll be really hard for you to bring in new clients without that messaging, and you will lose a lot of clients, potential clients, if you do not have that messaging down pat. Okay, we've got our table, but this does nothing if we never pull up a chair at the table, okay? So now I'm gonna draw a little cherry chair over here because we have a table, like we're gonna eat, right? But we don't wanna eat standing up, we wanna sit down. Well, those legs should be longer. Okay, we've got a stool now. And this is where our consistency comes in, or our momentum, okay? Now, it's not about being perfect, all right? It's just about having a seat at the table. Now, when I say consistency and momentum, if we're having a shit day, maybe we're just sitting down and having a coffee, maybe we're just putting a selfie on our story, being like, hey, I'm here, I'm alive, hello. Or maybe some days we're fucking eating the steak and chips, like you're having chippies, we're having steak, we're having veggies on the side, we've got dessert, we've got a bloody milkshake or coconut water, I don't know what you have with your dinner, but we've got the whole meal, we've got dessert happening, we've got everything. Like some days we're on and we are so on and we're in it and we're scheduling our content and we're scheduling really powerful content that's speaking to our dream clients and we're showing up on our stories and we're posting beautiful photos, and that's fine, but you don't have to do that every day. You can just sit down and have a coffee, you can just sit down and read a book, you don't have to eat anything, but as long as you know that without this chair, without you and you showing up with momentum and consistency, like this is not really gonna do much for you, because you can have some great messaging, right? But if you only post it once every 3 months, then like new people are not gonna see it, right? If you got all these beautiful photos, but you're not posting them, how do we know what you do and how do we know that you're good at it, right? If we got these really beautiful recognizable edits, but again, we're not posting them, how do people know, right? You have to assume that nobody knows anything. You have to assume that all these people coming to your page are brand new, right? They might have followed you for years, but let's assume that they haven't. What would they see coming onto your page? What do you want them to see in order to build this beautiful business for you and to allow leads to be coming through in the background, right? And when I say that, like you're in Bali for 2 weeks, right? You've scheduled your 3 posts of your maternity shoots that are coming up, right? But you haven't, like you're not at the table because you're in Bali. You're not at your fucking dining table because you're in Bali, all right? But all of this stuff is holding on in the background. And then maybe a new person comes to your page. They see your beautiful photos and your recognizable edits. They read some of your messaging and they read some of your social proof that you've got really beautiful client experience. And they're like, cool, I'm looking for a photographer. She's in Bali right now, whatever. Like we don't know that. But then they go, oh, she looks really cool based on all of this. Let me click on her story because I want to know more. And then she comes on your story and it's a beautiful photo of you in Bali with your family, or like you in your bikini, or I don't know, you drinking a coffee, having breakfast in Bali or something like that, or showing that you're on this holiday and they're like, whoa, she looks cool. Or maybe you're like, guys, we just went to I don't know, I just sat by the pool all day today while hubby was in the pool with the kids and I just sat there and drank margaritas. And they're like, yeah, she's my girl. She's my type of girl. That's what I want to do when I go to Bali. Because it's only fair, right? Whoever birthed the kids gets to sit and enjoy their holiday. Whoever did not birth the kids has to be on kid patrol. That's my opinion. And when all of this is happening in the background for you and you're not at your chair because you're on holiday, beautiful. Maybe they've just seen you and they're like, she's so cool, I'm gonna book in because this is already there for them to see, right? Or maybe your chair's knocked over because you're still in bed with the kids, right? Because they're sick and the dog's knocked the chair over. And you're like, cool, I'm just posting a real update being like maybe it's a 2-second thing being like, hey guys, I'm offline for a few days because I'm dealing with pneumonia with my youngest. Love you, bye. I don't know, you've just given them an update and they're like, oh my God, that poor thing. I can relate to that because my kid just had pneumonia the other day and she's got great photos, she's got recognizable edits, she's got a beautiful client experience and she's talking to me. Okay, cool. So when the kids are better, I'm gonna inquire and she can get back to my email when the kids are better. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hope this really makes sense to you, because this is how we build a photography business that doesn't fall apart when life gets in the way, all right? That's it, bye.